covered two founder members of Yen, so now let's meet with a third founder. He's from Belgium, it's Dirk from the association Outbound. So let's go to Brussels and find out about him.
There's a lot of people thinking that when you talk about this experiential learning by outdoor activities, you need rocks or caves or canyons or rivers or whatever. You can work everywhere, like in a park, without much material. I was always involved in youth work in my small village. I've been leader of scouts, group leader of scouts, then I became the coordinator of the local youth center, I've been president of the youth council, so it was normal that I would study something to do in working with people, so I studied first political sciences and then social work, where I started to work after my studies in an organization called Arctos. It's an organization that's organized all kind of activities for kids with fewer opportunities. So then I started to work in a local community center, and that's where I got in contact also with Youth Express Network. Well, at that time not Youth Express Network. First time I was invited by a guy I knew to go to a course in the Council of Europe, in the European Youth Center in Strasbourg, where I met Brigitte and some others, and there I had the idea to organize something for people with what we call people with problems or young people with problems, and there we had the idea to organize something together, and I think somehow there we started Youth Express Network. It's 20 years ago, it seems, where we started we had the first meeting with some youth workers from all over Europe, where we had two big projects. One was we would like to do some big media activity called Cable 5. Another was to organize a big gathering for young people in the Council of Europe, in the European Youth Center. I think that was the first activity from Youth Express Network, where we also started the first board. And I think one of the first presidents was a guy from Sweden, Mats, and then I think I became president of the Youth Express Network, and I think I did that for 4 years. I don't remember. Together with mainly with Brigitte. I've been working with young people with fewer opportunities for a long time. What I found out is that if you want to work with them, I think it's very important to work on self-confidence, because that's what they often lacking because of all kind of traumatic experience. And what we did there is that we instead of talking with them, we organized all kinds of activities in nature. So we brought them to forest with activities like climbing and so on. And there you see that by doing these activities together with other people and talking about it after the activity, people can learn about themselves. And I think it gives a boost of their self-confidence, because they're able to do things they normally cannot do, and they learn from it by reflecting afterwards. I think that's very important, that it's not talking about problems, it's talking about things they're good at, things they like, things they found out about themselves. It's not only rational learning, it's also learning by emotions, by doing things in contact with people, with interaction with people. I think that was what they learned a lot. So we organize a lot of these kind of activities also in different youth exchanges we did between organizations from Youth Express Network, and we also start to involve these activities in the programs in the Council of Europe. European Youth Center, what created sometimes a bit of conflict with the local, people from the European Youth Center. I remember that I was not there, but my colleague Arturas was doing it. They built a kind of monkey bridge in the European Youth Center, and it created a big fuzz and so on and so on. But we were the first to do these kind of activities there with all kind of One of the most memorable was our General Assembly we had in Dublin. I think it was in Dublin. We were invited by a local youth center, and the problem was that the heating was not working. So there was only one small heating, and I think we were sitting on a big table with around 30 people, and we found a system to get everybody get a little bit hot. So we were every 10 minutes we were changing chairs. So we were always changing chairs all the time. It was a very funny meeting. I think that, and then I think what I remember was that we had also very nice evenings in Dublin. I remember there was one guy from I don't remember where he was from. From Italy, from Margaux organization, who was a bit drunk and was trying to talk to the girls and was telling about his life and a lot of stories. But the most memorable was the changing of place in Dublin. So my wish for this network is that we get another 20 years, of course. I think what was, I think in that time, 20 years ago, it was very, I would say, experimental to start with this kind of activities, because there was nothing for people with fewer opportunities in international, let's say, in European youth work. So, I think we always have set, how to say, set the borders, change things. We were always innovative, a little bit anarchistic, and I hope that we can keep this, how to say, spirit, and that we don't become a big bureaucratic organization. That we can keep this kind of, how to say, sense for innovation, anarchy, a little bit different than ours. I think that's what we try to do in the beginning. I hope we can keep that like it is, and another 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you.